Good morning and welcome everybody to my podcast, Unwind and Knit with me. My name is Lisa and I'm coming to you from Christchurch, which is the South Island of New Zealand. And this is my little space where I talk about my knitting and my patterns and my yarn and really all about my knitting journey. Also, I have a wee online shop, which you can see some stock behind me. So at the end, I talk about what's happening in my shop and any shop updates. And this is episode 50, so I'm really excited to bring you episode 50. It feels like a really big milestone. So welcome everybody. If you are a new viewer to my channel, welcome, and please remember to subscribe and thumbs up if you enjoy the content. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you very much for being here with me for episode 50. And I hope you have coffee or a hot beverage and you're knitting and a spare hour or so to share your time with me, and we'll talk about my knitting. Okay, so let's get into episode 50. Today is Tuesday the 12th of December, so it has been a little while since my last podcast. Hey, it's December and life happens and it's a really busy time, and sometimes curveballs get thrown in and we just adapt. So it has been a busy few weeks since I last saw you. So yeah, episode 50, I finally made it. Let me just go through my list here. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We're getting close to the big 3,000, so that's really exciting. So I've still got, I don't know, I think about 150 more to go. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram as Unwind and Knit with me, and we have a community Facebook page, which I really enjoy because it's where you can post what you're doing. I get to see what you're doing as you get to see what I'm doing. It's really nice for me to be able to engage with people on that platform. So if you haven't joined our community Facebook group, feel free to do that. There will be a couple of questions and a moderator approves you. Can you hear that? We're having a really big thunderstorm. So here in Christchurch, we don't get weather bombs. Our weather is very settled here. We don't get a lot of rain. We have had a lot of wind of recent, but it's where I live is very, very settled, and we never get big thunderstorms, and it's going crazy out there. There is lightning and thunder, and I'm just hoping we don't lose power, because it's a sort of thunderstorm that could probably take power out. So I'm not sure if you can hear it, but it's pretty amazing. But anyway, so hopefully that doesn't interrupt us too much. I'm looking forward towards a big window. So I'm watching it all play out, and I'm watching strikes of lightning. Oh dear. Everything I talk about here on my podcast, I leave in links below in show notes. So I do leave show notes for any patterns with Ravelry links that I talk about. Any yarn that I talk about, I will leave a link to where you can purchase that yarn. And also feel free to leave comments if you wish. I do get back to everybody. Even if it's just a quick response, I do try to get back to everybody. You can also subscribe to my newsletter, and you can do that via my website, unwindandknit.com. And if you ever place an order on my online shop, there is a box that you can tick that says, please keep me up to date. And I don't send out a lot of emails, but if I have a special or something that I want to get the message out, I will send out a wee newsletter. So feel free to subscribe to the newsletter. I did tell you, so in my last podcast, I had my mannequin with this jersey on it, and we decided we were going to run a competition to celebrate my 50th episode. And the theme was leave a message in the comments below with the word mannequin and your suggestion of a name to name my mannequin. And I should have her here, but I've got nothing on her. And that was a real lot of fun. So many of you replied, and some of the names that were just, I was so tempted, but Coco, Bella, Isabella, Molly, Millie, Wilhelmina, that was a really good one. One lady said Audrey, as in Audrey Hepburn, because she's so classy. Margot, Rosie, Matilda. There were so many names, but one name that jumped out to me was actually Dolly. So I've decided that her name is going to be Dolly. And the reason for that is I have always been a really big Dolly Parton fan. And when this was playing out, and I was reading the comments, I saw Dolly Parton being interviewed because she's released a new album. I'm not really sure what the interview was about, but I've always loved Dolly Parton. So that is my mannequin's name. It's Dolly. I have drawn actually 3 winners. So the main prize was this beautiful ball of self-striping yarn that was given to me by Cynthia at Mrs. Peacock's Yarns, and she does she indie dyes these self-striping sock yarns with a contrasting heel toe, and this was a Christmas colorway that she did, and I will show you mine because I've knitted mine up, but I'm pretty sure she sold out. So this is really quite precious. I think it's the only ball left in New Zealand. So I will let you know shortly who the winner of that is. And so Mrs. Peacock's Yarn, she sells on Etsy and her website. But if you live in New Zealand and you're after some of her self-striping yarn, but not this colour, I know that Lupine, which is a yarn store in Auckland, have some of her yarn still available. I'll leave the link below for that, but that's Mrs. Peacock's Yarns. And that is the prize that was it was randomly generated by an app that I have. So yeah, it just randomly draws a winner, but I've drawn 3 winners. So the first winner is to get that, and the other 2 winners are going to get these mystery yarn and accessory boxes that I've made up that I will show you a bit later towards the end. So there's 3 winners that were randomly generated, and I think that's about everything for the admin things. I'm just wondering if we're going to get another big thunder and lightning strike. Anyway, what I'm wearing. So this was on my mannequin and it was almost completed when I saw you last time. I will insert a photo. I don't like getting up in front of the camera and doing that awkward modelling thing. So my daughter's going to come and visit shortly, so I'm going to get her to take a photograph, and I will insert that photograph so you can see what it looks like completed. But this is the Super Simple Summer Sweater by Locatelli. That's it there. And this has been on my radar for a long time to do, and I absolutely love it. And what I love about it is that it's got this really relaxed sweatshirt feel. And I wasn't sure because it's a heavy DK and I get quite warm, and it's even in our winter it's quite warm indoors, but I can actually see myself wearing this sort of an evening, just sitting outside my motorhome having a wine or at a barbecue. It's just a real sweatshirty. I love it. You can see it has been blocked, but you can see where the increases were done. Now those increases were done with German short rows, and I thought they would block out a bit more, but they haven't. But I actually don't mind them. They look like a bit of a pattern feature. But yeah, I will insert the photo. So that's the Super Simple Summer Sweater by Locatelli. I did the size 5, so I went up a size to what I would normally do because I did want that relaxed sweatshirt feel. And I like this relaxed neckline, so I don't like tight necklines. I did the size 5. I used a German twisted cast on for here, and I used German short rows for my short rows. It's not increasing. I used jogless stripes when I changed the colour yarn. And I did the weave and steven, so as I changed, I weaved in my end, so I didn't have a whole lot to sew in at the end of the garment. And they're 4 techniques that I use a lot. If a pattern calls for wrap and turns for short rows, I always swap them out for the German short rows. I'm just checking my notes. I did this in, this yarn's available on my website, but it's Nurturing Fibres and it's a Super Twist DK. And I used 3 of each colour, and I do still have 3 of each available on my online store, but there wasn't a lot to spare. I didn't play yarn chicken, but I seriously have the smallest amount left over, and I did add a bit more length, which you'll see in the photo. But if you're doing a size 4 or 5, you will get it done out of 3 of each colour. So the colours that I used were Luna and Quince. So this colour here is like a neutral tan colour. It's called Luna. And this colour is called Quince. And there is 3 of each left if you want to do exactly what I've done. But if not, I really like that combination. So that brown is called Aged Leather. And this one's Cherry Blossom. But there's some blues and purples. There's a colour called Straw, which I really like, which is a yellowy straw colour. This is a heavy DK, and the pattern actually calls for a heavy DK or a worsted weight, so this worked perfect. But what I will say, it is a heavy DK, so it is a winter weight jersey or a winter weight sweatshirt, I'd like to say. But I've got a couple of my customers that have chosen the DK knit by numbers to do this exact pattern in, which is a standard DK. It's 250 meters per 100 grams, where this one here is 206 meters per 100 grams. So I'm just going to lean over and grab some. I just couldn't pick one colour, so I picked a handful because they're all amazing. But that's just a handful of colours. There is more, and there's actually about another 20 that should arrive by the end of this week, so I've ordered more. But so I have one customer that has done the pink and white. The white is just undyed, and the other colour that's been really popular is colour 14, which is that orange. It's like a burnt orange and white. That combination has been really popular. But there are so many colours. There's greens and yellows and pinks and purples and blues. And any of those colours teamed up with a white. I even really like this dark brown. So, I mean the dark brown and the orange, or the dark brown and the white, the yellow. So if you're tempted to do this sweatshirt, this is the point I'm trying to make. If you're tempted to do this sweatshirt and you don't want to do it in the heavy DK, which is the Nurturing Fibres, you can do it in Knit by Numbers DK, and it would work really well. I'm going to put those down. That was a lot of yarn. But I did my swatch, and actually I was right on gauge. I was perfect. Gauge was, I think it was 17 stitches. Yes, gauge was 17 stitches over 4 inches on a 4mm needle. And I did get gauge. So I hope I can tempt you. It is a really nice sweatshirt. So that's that. Now I'm going to go on to some of, I've got FO. This was one FO. I've got one more FO. And then I've got a few whips that I'm going to share with you. Then I have some patterns and some new cast-ons that I want to share with you. Then I have some Christmas ideas if you're after some Secret Santas or some little Christmas gifts. I'll do that in my shop update. I've got quite a few things to show you. What I will mention is since I saw you last, my husband and I did a trip over to the west coast of the South Island, which is Hokitika and Greymouth. And I spent a day with the lovely Alicia from Dye Studio 54, and she's an indie dyer over in Greymouth. I'll leave the link below for her yarns. And my husband was running for the day, and I had met her at a wool festival, and she said, if you're ever in the west coast, just pop in and say hello. So I did. I rang her and said, I'm here for the day. And I had lunch with her and her family, and I just had a real blast hanging out with her in her dye house, dyeing yarn. It was really, really a good day. So thank you, Alicia, for making me feel so welcome. And the other place I went to was Hokitika, and there's a shop there called the Sock Shop. Now, I'm going to share this with you because I didn't know this, and I'm sure a lot of you do know, but maybe don't. So when I've watched podcasts, I've heard people talk about cranking out socks, like on a sock machine, just cranking out tubes. The Grocery Girls and Needles at the Ready. There's a few podcasts that have these sock machines where they crank out socks. Well, there's a lady over in Hokitika who sells these sock machines, and they're made here in New Zealand. And if there's anything you want to know about a sock machine or cranking out socks, she's the lady to contact. She knows so much. And these sock machines are amazing. They are an investment, and no, I didn't buy one. They're about $3,500, $3,500. And then I found out they're actually made here in Christchurch, and she sells them through her store in Hokitika. And she has tutorials and websites and everything to teach you to crank out socks. And she did a demo for me, and I filmed it, and I'm going to insert that little video at the end of this podcast. So if you've ever been tempted to buy a sock machine or to see how socks are cranked out on a sock machine, jump over to the Sock Shop in Hokitika. You'll find her website, but I will leave that video at the end. So that was a real highlight as well. The West Coast just has so much to offer a knitter. It was really good. So I had a really good weekend. So I am just going to clear my lap now and get my first FO. My first FO is a pair of socks, which I'm excited about because I've hardly done any. Well, I've done no sock knitting this year. And in January, I started the year thinking I was going to knit a pair of socks a month, and I knitted none. So it's a bit disappointing. But I have finished my DRK Everyday Socks by Andrea and Mowry. I've talked about this pattern a lot. It's my go-to sock pattern because I love the rib. It's a 2x2 rib, and the sock fits really well. So I have knitted other socks where they can just be a bit baggy and saggy, but this particular sock pattern really hugs the heel and the ankle. It's a really nice pattern. Anyway, on my last podcast, I had showed you that I had almost finished these socks. I had knitted the first one, and when I knitted the second one, the stripes didn't match from here upwards. And it really annoyed me, and I shared that with you, and I shared how they weren't matchy-matchy, and I had some really cool comments. And one person commented and said, just cut it with the scissors and fix it, and then graft the top. So cut it here, fix this section, and then just graft it back on, which is a good idea. But I thought, oh no, I just can't do that. I just couldn't see myself cutting into it and then grafting it. I thought it was probably quicker just to undo it. Some people said just ignore it, like don't be so pedantic about your socks being 100% matchy-matchy. And then a couple of people said to actually just over stitch it, duplicate stitch over it to cover it. But before I had even posted my episode, I was sort of doing the editing and playing it back. I'd already started ripping the sock out. And my theory is, if in doubt, rip it out, because I never want to knit anything that I'm not 100% happy with. So I did rip it out. So I'm happy to say that I now have 2 socks and the stripes match. And I'm really happy with those. So there's the second one finished. I do wet block my socks and I put them on these sock blockers. I do sell these in my online store, and they come in a pair, and there's small, medium and large. And a lot of people don't block socks. It's not necessary, but they certainly do look nicer if you're going to give them away as a gift when they're all blocked out nicely. So that's my first FO, and I'm really happy. This is this yarn was gifted to me earlier in the year from Mrs. Peacock's yarn, and this is one of her self-striping colourways that she does, and I'm keeping those for myself. Really, really happy with those. I have another pair that I want to show you, but I thought I might wait until the end. I wanted to talk to you a little about some sock knitting, and I've got some tips for new sock knitters, because I thought it's that time of year that we think about things that we want to knit, and it's a really good time to challenge ourselves to do something new and to step out of our comfort zone a little bit. So I've put a few things together that I want to share with you. If you haven't knitted socks and you're tempted to, I've got a few tips for you, a couple of free patterns, and I have written that on my notes to share with you towards the end. So stay tuned for that. So I'll go on to my first whip, which, like I said, that's that beautiful self-striping Christmas yarn that I'm giving away. Cynthia generously gifted me a ball of it. So I have knitted it up. So there's this beautiful red contrasting colour for the heel and toe, and this is all self-striping, and it's just really exciting because these colorways, it's like a Christmas tree, and when you get to the colors, it's like Christmas fairy lights going off with each row. It was so exciting to knit. I'm absolutely thrilled. And as you can see, I've done the same pattern, the DK Everyday Socks. Finished the first one, and I have just cast on the toe for the second. I will take that away with me. We are heading away for Christmas and New Year, and that is one project that I will take with me. I cast the toe on the other night, and I've purposely left it to where it is because now I can just start the foot, and it will be just nice travel knitting, or, you know, just nice, easy holiday knitting. So that's my first whip, is another pair of DRK Everyday Socks. This pattern is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. I will leave the link below, but I have got two to show you that are actually free patterns from Ravelry for new sock knitters. With this one, if you are tempted to do it, it's called a Turkish cast on, and it's a really nice easy cast on, and Andrea does a tutorial on YouTube that will talk you through that cast on. So there's my DRK Everyday Socks. So my next whip, I hadn't cast this one on. I had talked about it in my last podcast. I don't think I had cast it on, but it's the Widow's Kiss by Thea Colman, and she goes by the name of Baby Cocktails. So on Ravelry, it's Baby Cocktails. I'm not sure if that's a series of patterns or whether that's the name that Thea Colman actually goes by. But this is called the Widow's Kiss. And it's this jersey that's beautiful rustic DK yarn, and it's just got all these cables. And I just wanted to do it. She talks about using a DK yarn that is rustic, and straight away what came to mind was my Appledore DK. This is out of the UK by John Arbon Textiles. I have knitted my Winter Beach Cardi in this yarn. I love this yarn. It is a bit rustic. For some people it may have a little bit of a scratch factor, so I would normally recommend it for outerwear like cardigans or vests. In this case it's a jersey, and I'll probably just wear a little singlet or camisole under it. And the colour I'm using is Payhembury, and I have ordered some more of this, which is should be here by the end of the week, because I think once you see mine, you are going to be tempted to do it. This colour, I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on camera, but it is like a dark charcoal, but it has actually got, I don't know, almost like a fleck or a hue of like maybe a deep purple. Can't really see it there. But yeah, so that's the yarn I'm using. Now I will show you. I have this in one of my leather project bags that I have made, and I have some more arriving next week, and I have pink and purple and salmon and some beautiful colours, but I've only got 10, so they're going to be really limited, and they all come with a matching leather notions pouch. I will tell you more about that in the shop update, but what I will say, if you are wanting one, email me, and I'm going to put out an email, like a pre-sale for people that I know that are interested, because I don't think they're going to last long, and I've already got a couple that are already allocated to people. So, but anyway, that's my leather project bag, which is storing this. Now, I couldn't put this on my mannequin because it's actually a bottom up, which I'm not normally a fan. When I say I'm not a fan of, a lot of my garments are top down, and I love top down. I love the idea of being able to try it on, but it certainly hasn't put me off doing this one. So here we go, and that's showing up really well. So I started with the rib section, and then this cable pattern is I think it's a 32 row repeat. Isn't that good? That's a little bit of white fleck that comes out, but so I've got stitch markers there indicating each pattern repeat, so as I don't get lost. But I'm really enjoying this. Yay. What can I tell you about it? I'm actually doing it exactly to pattern. The size, the needle size, everything about it is 100% to pattern. And I hope to have that ready for to attach the sleeves by the time I see you next time. The pattern calls for you to do the sleeves first, and the sleeves are just straight stockinette stitch. And I thought, well, that was just a bit too boring. At the time, I really wanted to cast it on into cable. So I will do a bit more of this body, probably to about there. And then I will put it on hold and start the sleeves, because then the sleeves have to be attached. So, yeah, I hope to have more of that to share with you. I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying it, and this yarn is just perfect for cables. I've talked about it before. My Winter Beach Cardi has a lot of cables and moss stitch, and this yarn just shows up the cables so well. There is probably, I don't know, 15, 18 colours available in this yarn, but if you're wanting to do the same colour I'm doing, it's called Payhembury. I'll put that away. So that's my Widow's Kiss by Thea Colman. Okay, the next one I want to show you is actually a mystery knit along that a friend gifted me, and it started on the 1st of December, and every couple of days the next clue is dropped into your email or your Ravelry inbox, and I have been keeping up in saying that I haven't looked at today's one, but I I want to do it every day they come out, so by Christmas Day I'm going to have this little one completed. If you don't want to see what it is, you might want to skip the next section, because it is a mystery knit along. It's a gnome. It's a lady that does a lot of gnomes. I'll show it to you. Okay, so this work in progress is called No Matter What by Sarah Shearer or Shira, and that's all I can show you. So if you go onto Ravelry and search No Matter What, you can purchase this knit along, and I'm up to clue 5, so I am up to date, and I'm going to show it to you. So skip forward if you don't want to see it. So in the beginning, she calls for 4 colours, a dark, a light. In her kit anyway, she had 4 colours similar to this. So she had a black and a white and a blue and an orange. So I've using these 4 colours from my Jamieson Smith range, which is Shetland wool, which are perfect because they're only 25 gram balls, so you're not sort of having to buy 100 grams of each. There were kits available. She did on her website or on the pattern. She gives a whole lot of suggestions of people that sell kits for it, but I will leave these 4 colours in my show notes if you are tempted to do it. They're the 4 colours I've chosen. So one of the clues was this little thing here, which I'm not sure what it is for, and also this little one here, and I've done these on my small circulars. So there's 2, that was 2 of the first clues. Then the third clue was these here, and I wasn't sure what they, at the beginning I thought maybe they were like reindeer antlers, but they're done using I-cord. So that was one of the next clues. Then the 4th clue was this black hat, and I thought, oh yeah, that's pretty neat, this little top hat. And at this stage I was still expecting a gnome, but then clue 5 come out, and we had to pick up stitches and start knitting this body, where now I realise that he's actually going to be a snowman or a snow gnome. So that's where I'm at. I haven't finished this clue, but I do more of the body and then I tie it together, and I think at that point I can stuff it. My friend showed me hers, and she has stuffed the body with stuffing, but on the bottom she puts rice, so it's quite weighted, so it sits quite nicely. So that is where I'm up to. I'm using these little DPNs, which I don't love, but it's worth it. One of the other clues was this little thing here, and I think this is going to be a nose. I'm pretty sure that that's going to get sewn on to be a nose. And then these 2 things here, which I thought were reindeer antlers, are going to be his arms, I'm pretty sure. So I think they're supposed to represent like 2 sticks to create his arms. And then I think one of these is going to be like a skirt, and I think one might be a scarf. Not sure. But it's been a lot of fun. And so what I've been doing, I've been getting up every morning, having my breakfast and my coffee, turning my computer on and looking for the day's update. And then I've sat there and done just 30 or 40 minutes of knitting every morning before my day starts, to make sure that I've kept up to date, because I really want to get him finished. I didn't want it to be one of those things that was gifted to me that just sat in my Ravelry folder and I never done anything with. I really want to get him finished. I will show you. So the friend that gifted this to me a couple of years ago made this one for me, and I'm pretty sure it's by the same designer. And that she has used in this the same as what I was saying. She's used soft stuff in, but on the bottom she's put rice, so he stands really nicely because it's weighted at the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do with that one. So that's my mystery knit along. I will have him all completed and he'll be a little person by my next podcast. So I'm going to put him away and get my next whip. Okay, we just had another really big loud clap of thunder. It's quite exciting. Another whip that I'll show you, I've made no progress on since my last podcast, but I did want to just touch on it again. And that's my Selbu Socks. That's these ones here. And I've shown you these in a couple of my episodes, and I've had quite a few customers take on the challenge to knit a pair of Selbu socks. It's Exmoor sock yarn that I'm using, which is this range here. They're the two colours I'm using, and I just wanted to show you again. I haven't made progress, but this is, you start at the cuff, which once again is quite different because when my socks that I normally do are toe up, these are cuffed down, and they're done on these little shorty combos, these chalgoon needles, which are called shorties. And I've had quite a few of you purchase those and this Exmoor sock, and you are challenging yourself to do a pair of Selbu socks. And I just find that really exciting, and often I think that's why I do what I do. That's why I do these podcasts, because if I could just inspire one person to try something different, I get a real kick out of that. So I will continue to work on those after Christmas, and hopefully I will have at least one sock finished to show you. But I did just want to let you know that they are still on my radar, and I am still hoping to work on them for those of you that are also working on them. Now, I think because it's the end of the year, or getting very, very close to being the end of the year, often I like to challenge myself, and I think, oh, what can I do that's different? Like I need to broaden my horizons a bit and try something new. And it's been on my radar quite a bit I want to master brioche. I have done a big cardigan that was one colour brioche, a bit more like a fisherman's rib, and I absolutely loved it. I've had a dabble with two colour brioche, but not successfully. So I sat down and I thought about it, and I spoke to a friend, and she said, look, watch some tutorials. The thing with brioche is just go slow, because you don't want to make mistakes. Brioche isn't easy to rip back and pick up if you make a mistake. So it's one of those things that I thought, okay, I'm going to do this in a quiet space. I'm going to watch the tutorials. I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to master brioche. So this particular friend, I said, well, what pattern do you recommend? Because I know that Andrea Mowry does a hat called the Harlow, and I would highly recommend that. I have had a look at it. I haven't purchased it yet, but I think that would be a really good intro if you want to try two colour brioche, and her tutorials make it really easy. So I did look at her tutorials for two colour brioche in the round, and that's what got me started on this pattern. Now, this is a free pattern from Ravelry, but what I've got to say is I wouldn't recommend it. So my friend has done this shawl, and it looks done. It's not a shawl, it's a cowl. She's done this cowl, and I always admire it when she has done it. And I can't even pronounce it. So the pattern's actually in German and English. Now, she knitted this, she speaks and reads and understands German, so she did it from the German download. I don't think the English download or the translation is as good as it could be for a beginner. And the reason I say that is because I had 4 goes at this. Literally a whole day's knitting of casting on starting, ripping it back. Casting on, starting, ripping it back. And I probably spent 6 hours before I thought this is ridiculous. So I cast on, I did the first setup round of rib, and then I went to Andrea's tutorials, because the first section of this pattern is just 2-colour brioche. So that is what I did. And I am so happy. I am just absolutely loving this. Oh, I want to make sure. So this is where I'm at. So I cast on, I think it was 176 stitches in the light colour. I did 1 row of rib, knit 1, purl 1, and then I got onto Andrea's tutorial and just followed her tutorial for 2-colour brioche. And I could not be happier. So that's the front. That's the back. Now with 2-colour brioche, I have often heard that you should use 2 colours that are quite contrasty, but then I've seen other people with that Harlow hat of Andrea's do colours that are quite similar. So I don't think there's any rules. But what I had this yarn looking at me. I sell this yarn, and it was hanging up on my hang sell wall. And I just knew I wanted to do these 2 colours. So, and that's actually what motivated me to want to do brioche, because I thought these 2 colours are this. Like, they're perfect. So this is in my high twist merino. It's 100% high twist merino. This colour is called dark plum. And this colour is called, I think it's called Vegas Lights. No, New York City Lights. Oh, here, I have it here. So, dark plum and New York City Lights. So, very contrasty. That's a better look there. It's almost like Black Doris. So, it's a really dark plum. And this one here has so many different speckles in it, orange, purples, blues. But you can see here, it's going to show up, you can see the bits of orange and bits of purple and blue. Oh, there's a better look there as well. Just enough pops of colour, I think, to make that so exciting. And what has happened, it's slow going, but it's all I've wanted to knit. So if you ever started a new project and it's just consumed every knitting hour that you have in the day, well, that's what's happened here. Now I've done this over 4 nights. I think I started it on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. 3 nights. Quite a lot of knitting hours, and I've only done that much. So I've only got about 1 centimetre to go, and then I'm going to start some of the pattern work. Now, to achieve this pattern here, it's basically like doing a cable. You put a couple of stitches on a cable needle and hold it the back or the front, knit a couple, and then knit off your cable needle. So it's literally just holding stitches at the back and front that's going to create this wave. And I can't wait to do it. It's a little bit naughty because I had cast on the jersey I just showed you, the Widow's Kiss, and I was really hoping to just get that finished in a month or 2, but now this has come along and it's taken up all of my knitting time, and it's because I just love it. It's really rhythmic. It's a series of slip knit, brioche knit, brioche purl and slip-in stitches, and I'm just thrilled. So if you want to try some brioche, that was my point. We're at the end of the year, and I think it's a really good time to look at some new things. If you're just sort of stuck in a little bit of a rut doing the same, I'm going to put it out to you that you can knit a pair of socks or you can knit brioche, and I'm going to show you some patterns. So with with the brioche, I found a couple of free patterns that you can download that I'll share with you. Like I said, I haven't got it, but the Harlow, and I'm pretty sure it's Harlow. I will leave the link below. I've had a few people tell me it's a really good first project. So that's by Andrea, and that's a beanie. But I found this, and this is a free one, and it's called Originally Lovely Brioche Ribbed Hat. And it looked to me very much like the Harlow. This is in a DK yarn, and it's free from Ravelry, and I will leave the link. And the DK that I've got there, the knit by numbers, would be perfect. I'll just grab two off there. They're two blues, but any two colours in DK would be perfect. But you may even be able to find something in your stash. So brioche ribbed hat, and it's free. It says skill level intermediate, but like me, I think if you get on and just look at a couple of tutorials, take it slow. Get your head around what a brioche knit and a brioche purl is, and you'll love it. And the effect is beautiful, like that. It feels squishy, it feels warm, it feels drapey. It's just beautiful. It's really squishy. So I haven't done brioche in a DK, but I think I'm going to do that one. Now, this one is also a DK, and it's a free pattern. And it's called the Basic Brioche Beanie. And that's it there. They're quite different. This one is it's got a hem on it. Hem? I don't think that's the right word. This one has a hem on it, and this one doesn't. They are both for DK. They are both free, and I'm going to leave the link below for those two. If you are tempted but you don't want to pay for a pattern, they're the two free options. Now, these two here are paid for. And the reason I chose this one is because she's a local Kiwi designer, and it's Alana from Black Cat Knitting Company. She has used Spin Cycle, which would make this quite an expensive cowl. So you may not want to use Spin Cycle if it's your very first one, because you're really just learning the technique. But it's called Earth Shades Cowl. I haven't read the pattern. All I know is that it's a paid for pattern on Ravelry. But I do like to support local designers. So once again, it's brioche in two-colour brioche in the round. So the three patterns I've showed you there are all done in the round. This one is a little bit different because it's done in the flat. It's back and forward, back and forward. It's DK weight, and it's a paid for pattern on Ravelry, and it's called the Nesting Wrap. Now, I said before, I had tried brioche some time ago, and I didn't master it. I wasn't great at it, and I ripped it out and flagged it. This was the pattern that I had started with, and I dug it out because I have paid for this pattern. It's called the Nesting Wrap, and it's really just quite a big scarf. This one here's been done in, it is two colours, it's red and pink, and it's not showing up that well, but it's two-colour brioche, and you start it, and then there's some pattern, some increasing and decreasing. There is quite a bit of shaping on it. I think that is quite a big project if you're just learning brioche, and I probably wouldn't recommend it because I didn't. I tried it as my first project and I didn't get far. But I would do one of those beanies or one of those cowls. I think one of the beanies. And to be quite honest, I'll probably get on and pay for the Andrea Mowry Harlow. only because I like to support her because she does really good supportive tutorials. So that is my little brioche journey, and because it's the end of the year, I encourage you, why not step out and give it a go. These two colours, if you want to do 2-colour brioche, they are so good. I am so impressed, and I'm not saying that because it's my yarn and I want you to buy it. I'm saying it because I just can't believe how good it looks. It actually looks better in real life. So that's my brioche. The next thing I'm going to talk about is actually some sock talk. So I'm just going to share a couple of minutes talking about some options for people that haven't knitted socks before, and maybe it could be your New Year's resolution with some sock knitting. Okay, when I very first started knitting socks, which is maybe 6 or 7 years ago, these two patterns were recommended to me by some ladies in the knit group that I was going to at the time. And they're both free patterns off Ravelry. And one is called Toe-Up Socks with a Difference, and the other one is called Socks on a Plane. And I, as always, will leave the links below. These are both toe-up socks. I haven't got colour pictures to show you because I've had these for 6 or 7 years and they're very well used and they're not in colour. The toe-up socks with a difference I really like because it's got quite a unique heel. You do ribbing on the heel, but it is a nice, I think, beginner's pattern. And the Socks on a Plane, also toe-up, has a neat little cable going up the sides. You could do this pattern and not do the cable if you wanted to keep it just simple. But it does have a neat little feature. But if you go onto Ravelry and have a look, you'll see the colour photos, and you can decide which one you think you like, or you may just download both of them. So Socks on a Plane, toe-up socks with a difference. The other thing I wanted to share with you, and I've watched a lot of tutorials over the years and I couldn't tell you where I got this from, but I use it all the time and I recommend it a lot. So this is for me, for myself. So what I have done on a piece of A4 paper, I have traced the outline of my foot. And this is a really good exercise so you get a good fitting sock. So this is only for toe-up that this works, but I have traced my foot, and then at the top I have drawn off 5 centimetres, and then at the heel 5 centimetres. Okay, and then what I've done, I've measured from the heel to the toe, which is I think it's 18 centimetres. So when you start knitting your toe-up sock, you'll do your shaping for your toe, and then you'll knit. And this is the point you need to stop at to start shaping the heel. So this is a really good exercise for you to do if you're knitting your first pair of socks and you want them to fit well. The other tool, I sell these, are about $12, and they're called a sock ruler. And these are really, really good because as you're knitting, you put your sock over this and you'll know that's exactly 18 centimetres. So you'll know once your sock fits over there, that's the point where you're going to stop and you're going to start doing your heel and your gusset on your sock. I've talked about these before because what I've actually done is I've actually marked on mine, Mark, Lisa, Chelsea, all the people in my family. So if I'm out and about and I'm knitting socks, I can just measure and I know that's where I have to stop and start doing my heel. So yeah, you might find that helpful. I found this really helpful when I started knitting socks. So 5 centimetres for the heel, 5 centimetres for the toe, and then that gives you your measurement. I hope you found that useful. If you're an experienced sock knitter, you're just going to go, well, that was really boring, Lisa. that was a boring exercise. But sock knitting for me is really rewarding, and I think it's the best gift is to give someone a pair of hand knitted socks, like a loved one. I think it's really, really special. So they're the two patterns. The other thing I wanted to recommend, what I use to knit my socks is a 100 centimetre fixed circular. And I've tried an 80 centimetre, and to be honest, I think I started on an 80 centimetre, but the 100 centimetre is better because it gives you, because you're doing magic loop and you don't want that circumference to be tight. So I use 100 centimetre, and I use a 2.5. Sometimes I use a 2.25 if I want a tighter gauge. So I have put together a sock knitting kit. So if you want this for yourself, or you want to gift it to somebody that wants to start knitting socks, I think there's 4 colours available, but you get 100 grams skein of sock yarn, which is Merino 80/20, Merino nylon blend. You get your needle. You also get a little mini skein of, I've only got the one colour and it's really, really dark blue, but I've wound off some little minis. So if you want to do a contrast in toe, heel and cuff, you can. And with that, I have put some, these are a free gift, and they're handmade stitch markers that I've made. And there's 4 of them, and they represent to me a Kiwi summer, which is why I made them. So there's a fern, there's a jandal, there's a watermelon, and there's a sheep. They're so cute. And I've made those, and they go in there free of charge. It'll be in this box, and it will come with a fancy gift wrapping. So that's the sock knitting kit that you may want for yourself, or you may want to gift it to somebody. If that doesn't appeal to you, I have also got all of that sock, not this, all of my 80/20 Merino indie dyed sock yarn. I've got it at 25% off on my website. So have a look at that. And they're the 2 patterns. Toe-up socks with a difference and socks on a plain. I really hope that I have motivated you to maybe try brioche sock knitting if you haven't yet. That was my goal. My goal for this episode was to motivate somebody to finish the year and go into the new year knitting something different. Okay, where am I up to? The other thing, I have finished my whips and my FOs. I am going to do a shop update. I wanted to tell you, on my website, I do also have gift vouchers. So if you are wanting somebody to buy one for you, or if you want to buy one for someone else, you can buy gift vouchers. And I have something else I want to share with you. So if you've been following me for a little bit, you'll know that a few months ago I got back into spinning, and I got my e-spinner, which it was given to me for a birthday present, and I'm loving it. I'm loving spinning. In saying that, I haven't done any. I had to clean up a corner of my lounge where I have a lot of my knitting things. I had to clean that all up for the Christmas tree to go up. So I haven't done any spinning, but what I did, I treated myself, get this out, and I subscribed to a mystery, what's it called? A mystery fibre club. Now this is handmaiden, and so this is a lady in the South Island, down south from where I am. Where is she? I know that she's south of Christchurch, and it's like a subscription, and I think it was $25 a month, and on the 1st of every month you get a mystery braid. Now I'm going to show you December's braid. So if you are a member and you don't want to see this, look away. But this is the mystery braid I got for December. Isn't it beautiful? It's very Christmassy with the dark plum and the green. But that was my mystery, and this little one come with it. It's got sparkle in it. It feels beautiful. I'm not sure what that is, but that came with it. So I was really excited about this. I plan on doing a year of mystery braids, and like my mystery knit along my snowman there, I want to try to stay up to date. So I want to try to have this spun before I get my next one, which will be the end of, it was the end of, no, it was the beginning of, it'll be January. Yeah, I'm not going to get this done by January. We're going to be away for a couple of weeks and I won't be taking my e-spinner. So yeah, let's forget about that goal. That's not going to happen. But I really do want to, I'm quite excited about that. I've never subscribed to a mystery anything. I know there's a lot of yarn clubs and there's clubs where you get minis, and I've never done it, but this kind of excites me because it's a little bit different. So that was my mystery braid from Handmaiden. I will leave a link if you are tempted to maybe join, or just go and have a look at what she's got. So she hand dyes those braids. Also, that knit by numbers that I showed you before, so that's 50% Merino, 50% Blue Face Leicester, and that's out of the UK. I have my second instalment of that order arriving this week. It should be here probably tomorrow. I know it's cleared custom, so it's not far. There's about another 30 colours coming, and I have got some series of colours of fades, like fades of pinks and blues and purples. So keep an eye on that if you are tempted for some DK. But I've also ordered some drawstring project bags, and they have a really nice print on them for John Arbon Textiles. And I am going to give that away as a gift with purchase. So I had the pins that I was giving away. So any purchase of Knit by Numbers, you will receive, if it's one purchase, a pin. Any more than one skein, you'll get the project bag, and that's until sold out, but I have ordered quite a few. Talk to you about my socks. I should tell you, I've got sidetracked here. I should tell you who the winner of this Mrs. Peacock's, so I showed you that before, the Christmas, and the competition was to name my mannequin, and the random generator, I will leave a picture, I will insert a photo of the winning names that got generated. But the sock yarn, it's Debbie Williams 819. So Debbie, if that's you, please email me. Email me using my website. There's a contact link, and you can email me with your details, and I will get that in the post for you. So that's Debbie Williams. The other two prizes, what I have done is 2 mystery gift boxes. So in here you will receive a mystery skein of yarn that has been wound into a cake. All I will tell you is that it's a high twist merino, and it's the colours of mystery. And in there will also be some stitch markers and some mystery goodies, but all knitting related. There'll be a hand cream, there'll be some notions, but so the 2 gift boxes, one goes to, and I'm assuming this lady's from Australia because it's Aussieirene, and the second one is Carol Rath 1129. I will put those below so you can see them, but I will also insert the card that was randomly generated. So that's Aussieirene, Carol Rath, and Debbie Williams 819. They are the 3 winners that will receive a gift in the mail, and hopefully you watch this before the end of the week, and I may be able to get it in the post and get it to you before Christmas. It'd be really nice. So they are the winners. I'm just going to get myself a drink. So this is a bit of a shop update now, and there's a few bits and bobs that might interest you. But I have got a new range of yarn come in, and it should be here by the end of the year. I will be away, so it's loaded on my website, but it says sold out. I haven't put the quantities in yet. But it's a yarn from Portugal, Retrosario. They do a yarn called Mondim, which is 100% Portugal wool, and it's what they call their sock yarn. So, and it's non-superwash. So most sock yarns that are available to us here are superwash, and they contain nylon. This is sort of a high twist hard wearing yarn that's suitable for socks, but this sock yarn's also been used by a lot of designers in a lot of other patterns, so you can use this for garments and shawls and accessories. But jump on the website and have a look. It's called Mondim sock yarn, and I have about 12 colors coming. I think there's probably about 60 in the range, so I've only started little, but there's some self-striping yarn there. It's some of the colors are similar to maybe opal, which is available to us here in New Zealand, but like I said, this is a non-superwash, which is why I wanted to get it, because all of our sock yarns here are superwash. So so that's Mondim by Retrosario. That is, it's on its way. It's somewhere out there in the ocean. It shouldn't be too far away. What else have I got coming? Oh, and I've got leather bags coming. The other thing with those leather bags, what I have is some more Notions pouches. These are beautiful leather, really thick leather Notion pouches. Now I use one of these. It holds my scissors, my tape measure, my row counter, embroidery needles. It's got stitch markers. This little thing holds a lot, and they're really beautifully made. So, and these are a really good gift if you're after a gift for a knitter. I have still got these on my website, and I think there's a dark green, but there are some more of them coming. And the other thing that's come in is some shawl cuffs. I sold out of them quite some time ago, but they're literally just a leather ring with a press stud to hold it closed that you can wrap around your shawl to hold your shawl in place. They are also on their way. And I'm just going to go through a couple of small things that I think would make really neat knitters gifts. The 50-gram balm is what I use. I actually keep one of these in my Notions pouch as well, and it's really good for massaging into your cuticles, because it's, you know, when you get that cuticle that's dry and it catches on your yarn, not suitable, that knitter's balm. And if you don't, the balm is quite oily, it's quite rich, but perfect for cuticles and dry hands. But I also do the bar, and this is a solid bar. Oh, it's quite glary. It's got a pattern. Smells divine. This one's perfumed, the other one isn't. But that solid bar, just rub it in your hands, pop it back in the tin, and it's really nice and moisturizing without being too greasy. But so the balm and the bar are on my website. You all know that I have these because I go on about these all the time. Knitter's cords. And then I have, these are really cool. These are only $5 and you get 60 stitch marker rings. I use these all the time. They're smooth. They just work really well. And the other thing is the stitch on needle tip stoppers. They're on my website as well. So I just wanted to quickly show you those in case you were after little things to give as Secret Santas or to your knitting friends. The next thing, this is another gift box that I've done. And I've shown you this a lot. It's this wrap. It's a one skein shawl. This is mine. And I wear this all the time. I love it. This is really easy knitting. It takes only one skein and it's a lovely wearable piece and it's a lovely gift. My daughter, who isn't a knitter, wanted one and she wanted to knit it. It was about a year ago. And I sat down with her only for about 10 minutes and showed her cast on, cast off, knit to the end. Cast on, cast off, knit to the end. It's the cast on and cast off that gives you these little bumps. You can see them there. She had never knitted before in her life, and only after about 10 or 15 minutes sitting with her, talking her through it, she knitted one of these. So this is really good. This gift box is a really good gift box for someone who you would like to introduce to knitting, or someone who is just a beginner knitter, or for yourself. But you get the pattern on this postcard, you get the yarn, and I've already wound that into a cake. So if it's a non-knitter, you don't want them receiving a skein because they won't know how to wind it. So I've wound it for you. And you get, I think it's the 80, no, that's the sock one. You get, it's a hang on, I'll get it right. 4mm 80 centimeter Chalgu needle, because I also think if you're going to start, if someone's knitting for the first time, you want them knitting on a really nice needle because it makes a difference. If they're using a needle that's not good quality, the experience isn't as good, in my opinion. So the needle, the pattern, the yarn, and a wee gift will come in this gift box. And the gift box on my website is called It's a Wrap, and there's 4 colours to choose from. That one there is called Agapanthus, and that's the colour that mine is in. And really nice holiday knitting. If you just want something simple, you don't want to think about too much, the yarn's already wound up for you. I think that would be a really good Christmas project. Or, like I said, I really want to inspire new knitters. We need to share this craft with new people. We need to introduce the next generation into knitting. I think it's such a beautiful craft to have. I think we should be just sharing it with everyone. I think I'm getting to the end. I always find December and January quite not as organised as what I like it to be. So I kind of feel I've probably been all over the place, and I probably haven't shown you a whole lot of knitting because, well, I knit every day, but I've had my socks, I've had my brioche, I've just had lots of projects. So I want to take this opportunity actually to thank everybody that's been with me for my 50 episodes. I think it's pretty massive. When I started, I thought, who knows, I might get to number 10 and maybe no one will like it and I'll never do another one. But I think to be at number 50 is a really big milestone. So if you've been with me, I know a lot of you have commented and said, Lisa, I've been with you from the beginning. That means so much. It means so much. And I really want to thank you for your support. I want to thank everybody that visits my website or has purchased from me. It enables me to keep doing what I'm doing. It just does. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed. If you are interested in the project bags, like I said, I haven't got a lot coming. They are really limited, but flick me an email and I will make sure that you know first that they are, at what time they're going to go live on my website. I hope all of you have a really, really nice Christmas, however you choose to celebrate this season. You know, everyone celebrates it differently. I hope I just hope you get to share it with people that you love, and more importantly, that you stay happy and healthy. And I hope you get lots of knitting done. I don't think I am going to get another podcast done until mid-January. Really busy time between now and Christmas, and then we're away and we won't be home till early January. My online store will close for about 10 days because I won't be here to send anything out. So it will probably close around the 22nd of December. So if you have got orders that you want, please get them done before then. Or actually, it may stay open, but there will be a note saying nothing will get dispatched until about the 6th of January. So just be mindful of that if you are ordering on my online store. I think that's everything. I'm sure that as soon as I flick the off button, I'll think of something else. I'll just check my list. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a fabulous Christmas and New Year. Like I said, stay happy, stay healthy, and I will see you in 2024. And I really hope that you are inspired to try something new. If you haven't tried brioche or sock knitting, I hope you get to try something new. All right, take care, everyone. Thank you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. See you.
But no, they're not rocket science. A lot of people in New Zealand got machines. That one on the floor down there, if you can get a picture of it, is beautiful. That's exactly the same machine.